and welcome back to Max Football Podcast. This is, I guess, host Mo, if you will, and you can call this segment an American talking Tottenham. I love how I'm going to keep rapping all this fun stuff in. I gave you guys a little bit of a rant off the Chelsea game, which was mad late. I mean, trust me, we've gone through some other stuff there. I'm going to ignore Rangers for right now. For right now being the meaning that I want to focus on Southampton. So there'll still probably be a Rangers reaction. Don't trip on that. But for right now, my focus, Spurs focus, our focus should strictly be on Southampton. So like I said, another Sunday game. And we're probably going to have Sunday games all the way up until the end of 2024 every other week. And this one is just like every other week, and it's must win. We have had lack of decisions No, let's just call it exactly what that is. It's been a lack of decisions going on these past few months. We've been losing to teams we shouldn't have lost to. The high was we beat Man City 4-0. And as I've said in a previous episode, that was, Man City, everybody's beating Man City. It just seems to be the thing right now. But the importance is this string of games has been so bad that it's already had this negative effect. The idea of Ange out has been just swirling all around the internet, Bleacher Report, all over the social medias, everywhere and in between. And this one has to be a winner. We've already lost to teams that have had, minimal wins here in the Prem. We lost to an Ipswich. We lost to a Crystal Palace, giving them both their first wins of the season. And now we could possibly be in a position, or I should say we are in a position, because there's been nothing to prove that we can beat this team. So we are currently in a position to give a team who has one win all year their second. And I'm really, really hoping that Man City team, quote unquote, can come out, that the Spurs that we know that we can be can actually appear against Southampton in Southampton's place. I don't remember the name of the arena right now. Sorry. But with that being said, as you saw in the graphic before you even clicked here and got here, you have to understand changes must be made. We've been playing a lot of the same guys day in and day out because we don't have a choice. As Ange says, he doesn't have a choice on trying to play, whether he wants to play Timo Werner or not. He's pulling kids out of school. I still think it's hilarious, but at the same time, some of those kids, you're pulling them out of school to sit on the bench. So you might as well leave them in class. I know you have to fill a roster, but Jesus, it feels like you're pulling them out of school for absolutely nothing. So speaking of pulling some of these kids out of school, I feel there are going to be some youths on the bench. I'm not going to specifically say who. I do want to give a predicted lineup going into this game. And for right now, I think that's kind of where I want to lean. The number one thing for me is there has to be a change along the back line. And some are leaning with one of the guys I have, and some people are leaning the other direction. But I'll give you my lineup, and hopefully maybe you feel the same as way I do. Fraser Foster has been absolute gold in goal, if that's the way we could put that. He has been a literal perfect replacement for Vicario. A lot of us were worried. I was worried. But he's come through, and his veteran savviness, his ability to actually be quicker than we have anticipated. He's got great hands, great reaction time, better on set pieces. I feel like he's actually going to give Vicario competition because of how well he's actually been playing. And a lot of our defensive struggles have been above the defensive line. So I want to start with the right back position. And there's a lot of people that think Djed Spence should take over for Pedro Porro because we've been waiting for Djed Spence to get some playing time. However, against Rangers, Pedro Porro finally started to come back into his own, which I know, again, it's Rangers, but at the same time, that is a team that has been on the upper echelon, so we have to give credit where it's due. And because we have an ability to, or I should say, he's been able to play. He had the ability to play well enough against. It's not the fantastic game, not the greatest game of his career, or anything far-fetched from that, but he had a game above where he's been, meaning I feel he's getting back on track. So because of that, I really don't want to take too much momentum from that. I'd like to keep him in there. at fullback, there's really not anybody else besides Djed Spence we could put there. We could maybe we go with Sergio Reguilon. I feel like he's somebody that we should attempt to try to use, especially since we're that weak on defense. But for right now, I'm going to stick with Pedro Porro. We know our two center halves are kind of stuck. They're not going anywhere. We have the one healthy center back in Radu Dragusin, and then the makeshift center back in Archie Gray. And I bring that up not as a knock on the kid. He is 18 years old. He is literally played two other positions that have nothing to do with the position he was brought in for, which was center midfielder, defensive center midfielder, if you want to be fancy. And he's ended up playing fullback. And now at this point, he's playing center back. And the game against Rangers was good. He showed a lot of promise. He showed that he can actually be in that position, play it well, play it to a strength of his, if you will. But that still leaves me nervous. Just because, again, he did well against Rangers, but this is the Prem. And as much as we could say it's Southampton, it's Ipswich, it's Crystal Palace, we have seen the outcomes in the end. So, out of precaution, I will still stay a little bit nervy, but my one big change does come at left back. I have been saying since the beginning of the season, Destiny Udogie is not the same guy anymore. He's not. You cannot have hamstring surgery and be that same pacey fullback, that guy that has the ability to get back on defense and have the ability to work up on offense. It's just not happening for him. And he's gotten exposed. For lack of better terminology, he has been exposed. So because of that, I feel Djed Spence should actually play at left back. And I feel he would do really well in that position. If ever there's an ability for us to play that high line and have that pace, Djed Spence is that pace, having the ability to get back. He may not be the greatest offensive presence, which guess what? Maybe that's not what we need him to be this game. Maybe this game, our back four stays exactly that, a back four, and they stay into the defensive line. They make it defense. Maybe the fullbacks aren't so as inverted, and they're not ending up as secondary strikers, let alone top midfielders. Apologize for the French, but that's how it is. So that's my back line right there. I want to stick with Fraser Foster. There's nobody else I really trust in goal right now, and at the same time, he's been killing it, so why pull him? Now in the midfield, we are depleted. Absolutely depleted. Ibasuma, out with suspension. Rodrigo Bentancur, still serving his 6-game domestic ban. So we have kind of a hole right there, and at this point, most people are thinking you just throw Pape Matar in there, and he's going to be your center defensive mid, and maybe we go with the team of Kulusevski and Madison. That's where I think maybe Sarr is going to be a super sub if we need him, and that's why I feel Lucas Bergvall should actually start at the 6. I feel he did very well in that role. Playing against Rangers, he was more of a 6 and an 8 kind of going back and forth, but I think he can do very good in that position. I feel he can be able to drop back, hold up, play enough to help feed Madison, to help feed Kulusevski. As I'm already giving away my entire midfield, that's where I want to bring back. I would like to bring back that Madison and Kulusevski connection. And that's why I felt Madison should play at the 8 and Kulusevski should play in the middle at the 10. Having that dynamic ball controlling ability through the middle is going to absolutely do wonders for us. We've always worried about, or I should say, we've always emphasized playing through the middle, the hold-up play, the ability to get the ball out quick and fast. Well, these are 3 guys that are all very good on the ball, and one of them who is willing to take it all the way up and down the entire stretch of the pitch in Kulusevski. So I think James Madison is going to be a very big part here in creativity build-up. I feel Kulusevski is going to be a massive part in hold-up as well. And at the same time, that is going to play massive into the front line, which our best front line all season long has been Son on the left, Brendan Johnson on the right, and Dominic Solanke in the middle. I have had my issues with Dominic Solanke. His lack of scoring, his lack of finishing ability at this point, and that's my personal opinion on it, is the fact that even against Rangers, he couldn't finish. I still feel he's our best player to play in the middle. Son is not a striker. Will Lancashire is not at that level to take over. It is Dominic Solanke and Dominic Solanke only, and hopefully come January we can add to the striker list. I'm hoping, but that's a different topic for a different day. So with that front line right there, I feel we're already and I want to say better shape, because Son has been dynamic at times on the left. We have seen Brendan Johnson, who is currently our top scorer, do wonders on the right, and he is looking like he wants to get back into those scores. He had numerous attempts against Rangers, but was unable to finish. I think with the dynamic midfield that I've created, having Bervall be a defensive guy while also having the ability to have hold-up play and the feed ability, the passing, the creativity, extra creative mind in the midfield along with Madison and Kulusevski. I think that mixed in with the top three that we have, we should be able to get back to looking like that high energy, dangerous looking, ball controlling team that we once were. Get back on track. Get a W here. Pick up 3 points here. Go into Thursday worrying about Manchester United and the FA Cup at a different time. We have to get momentum here. Momentum starts today, goes into Thursday, follows on next week. We need to close the rest of 2024 out strong. And if that means it's win out, then we need to prove we can do that. Whether it's Timo Werner getting a yelling at via the media because Ange Postecoglou, or whether it be some random American screaming on top of his lungs, or, well, I wouldn't even say on top of his lungs, but screaming at the fans out there or to the team out there that this is what we're about. We know how we can play, and we know that we have the talent to do what needs to be done to get the results here in the Premier League, especially against a team like Southampton. Yes, we should not take them lightly. We should never take any team in the Premier League lightly, but that doesn't mean that we're not dangerous. And it's time to show how dangerous Spurs can really be. It's time to truly unleash Spurs the way we know we can. And guess what? That includes these changes. And that also includes the ability to adapt. And I bring in all that fun stuff to talk about not only my predicted lineup, but to emphasize a few quick things of how Southampton is going to come at us. Well, first and foremost, we have to worry about a back five. We have done terrible against back fives this season, been able to create nothing against back fives this season, but they have been exposed by playing out of the back. They are not good against the press, and our front third has been one of the better pressings one of the best pressing trios in all the Premier League. We have been one of the better pressing teams in all of the Premier League, and I feel that is going to be an emphasis on us for able to get quick turnovers and possibly even quick goals. But with the quick goals means we actually need to take shots. We took all of 12 shots against Rangers and just 3 on target. The hesitation, the wanting to pass it, the wanting to do the extra this, the wanting to do the extra that hurt us. It made us look incompetent. We had strikers. We had guys in there who could be taking shots. They're not taking shots. The fact of the matter is Southampton's defensemen, their center backs, their full backs can be beat, and you can take a shot on them. Their keeper is not as good as those who feel he is. They can be exposed. We just have to be brave enough to take shots. We need to be brave enough to take shots on goal. Not hesitate, not extra pass it, not hope for an opening. Take the shot you have and go with what you can. It is time to make real changes, and it is time to make an impact. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I appreciate it. If there's any changes you would make to my predicted lineup, let me know in the comments section. If there's anything different tactically you think we should do outside of just remaining with our press and possibly playing the long ball a little bit if need be in situations. And final one for Ange, when you know it's time to make changes in the 60th minute, we need to make those changes in the 60th minute, not the 85th minute. So with that being said, hopefully we get in there, we get the result that we're looking for against a team like Southampton. I will be back to give you my reactions after this Southampton game. I'm saying Southampton so many times it's starting to lose all of its meaning. So I will catch y'all on the next one. Come on, you Spurs, bring home those 3 points.